Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi. My name is Charlotte. I'm a nursing student at AUT. I love reading and I try to upload videos on my channel every Monday. And today's video I'm really excited about because for a while now I've kind of been thinking about doing like a nursing 101 series where I teach you guys the stuff that I've been learning at university. I read somewhere that teaching other people things that you've learned is one of the best ways to revise, so I just thought that this could be like a cool little way to help me study and also a cute little tutorial for you guys as well if you're interested in this kind of stuff. So today I thought we'd go right down to the basics and start off by learning proper hand washing technique, which I know it sounds really simple, but I bet you that you're doing it wrong or not for long enough. So we're just going to go over it, refresh our knowledge a little bit. So I do have timestamps in the description of my video, so if you're looking for a specific piece of information you can just jump ahead, jump back, whatever you want to do, but I do recommend watching the whole video because we're going to go really in depth into hand washing today, and it also just really helps out my channel. So yeah, we're going to be covering hand washing and why it's important, the 5 moments of hand washing as recommended by the World Health Organization, and I'm also going to be demonstrating how to properly wash your hands using both hand sanitizer and also your lovely liquid soap. Also, another thing to note is that all of my sources are listed in the description and they come from peer-reviewed or official health or government sources, so all of the information is reliable, and if you're looking for more information about hand washing and infection control, you can just pop down to the description box, click on the links and find out some more information. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all of that good stuff, and I think now it is time that we just dive right in. So today we're going to start off by talking about why hand washing is important. So obviously it keeps your hands clean, but to further expand on that, hand washing is the most efficient and important technique at preventing the spread of antimicrobial resistance and healthcare associated infections. Hand washing plays a really important role in disease prevention, and disease prevention is important for a number of reasons, including protecting our vulnerable populations such as the elderly, very young children and people who are immunocompromised. It also prevents the risk of outbreaks by reducing the spread of infectious diseases, and finally it also minimizes the burden that we place on our healthcare systems and enables them to be able to focus on other areas or issues of health that may not be preventable. So now that we know why hand washing is important, we're now going to move on to when we need to hand wash. So I'm going to be talking about the 5 moments of hand washing as recommended by the World Health Organization. So the 5 moments of hand washing are before touching a patient, before beginning a procedure, after a procedure or a body fluid exposure risk, after touching a patient, and after touching a patient's surroundings. So we're going to run through each of these moments a little bit more in depth. So the first moment is before touching a patient. We do this to protect the patient from colonization and also against the spread of germs that may be on your own hands. Some examples of when you should be hand washing in this moment include before shaking hands or touching a child's forehead, before assisting a patient in personal care activities, before delivering care and applying non-invasive treatment, and before performing a physical non-invasive treatment. So the second moment is before a procedure, and again we do this to protect the patient against the spread of germs. We particularly want to prevent germs, either the patient's own germs or your germs, from entering their body. So you need to wash your hands immediately before accessing a site with infectious risk for the patient. So that includes invasive medical devices, damaged skin and mucous membranes. Some examples of when you should be hand washing in this moment include before brushing the patient's teeth, using eye drops, examining the nose, mouth or ears without an instrument, performing a digital vaginal or rectal examination, or suctioning mucus. You also need to wash your hands before dressing a wound, applying ointment on a vesicle, making a percutaneous, don't know if I've said that right, a percutaneous puncture or injection, before inserting an invasive medical device, and also before preparing food, medications, pharmaceutical products or sterile materials. The third moment is after a procedure or after a body fluid exposure risk. So the reason why we do this is to protect yourself from the patient's germs and also to protect your healthcare setting from germ spread. It should be completed immediately after glove removal and also immediately after you have performed the procedure or been exposed to body fluids. So examples of situations where this moment applies includes after a percutaneous injection or puncture, after inserting an invasive medical device and after removing an invasive medical device, after removing any kind of equipment that offers protection or any material offering protections, and also after handling samples containing organic matter and after cleaning any contaminated surfaces. Moment 4 is after touching the patient, and again this is to protect yourself from the patient's germs and also to protect your healthcare setting from germ spread. So you should be washing your hands after leaving the patient's side or after touching the patient, and some examples of situations where this moment applies include after shaking hands or stroking a child's forehead, after you have assisted the patient in personal care activities, after delivering care and other non-invasive treatment, and also after performing a non-physical examination. The fifth and final moment is after touching the patient's surroundings, and again we do this to protect ourselves from the patient's germs and also to prevent the spread of germs in your healthcare setting. You should wash your hands after touching any object when leaving the patient without having touched the patient. Examples of situations where this moment applies include after contact with surfaces or inanimate objects, after care activities, and also after any activity involving the patient's immediate environment. Okay, so my camera didn't record me explaining what we're going to do next. So what's going to happen now is that we've gone over the why and we've gone over when, and now we're going to be going over how to wash your hands. So I'm going to be demonstrating 2 ways to hand wash, starting off with the hand sanitizer or hand rub technique. So the first thing you need to know is that if you're using hand sanitizer, you want to be going for 20 to 30 seconds to ensure that your hands are completely clean. So first you're going to apply a palmful of your hand sanitizer in your cupped hands, covering all surfaces. Afterwards, you're going to rub your hands palm to palm. Then rub your right palm over the left dorsum with interlaced fingers and then vice versa. Afterwards, palm to palm with your fingers interlaced. Then the backs of your fingers to opposing palms with your fingers interlocked. Afterwards, rotational rubbing of the left thumb clasped in right palm and vice versa. Then rotational rubbing backwards and forwards with clasped fingers of your right hand in the left palm and vice versa. Then make sure that you let your hands dry, and once your hands are dry, your hands are safe. So while hand sanitizer is great for cleaning your hands, if your hands are visibly soiled, you need to be using an antimicrobial liquid soap. And instead of going for 30 seconds, you want to go for 40 to 60 seconds. The technique is very similar to the hand rub technique, so I'm going to show you how. So first, wet your hands with warm water. Try to avoid hot water because repeated exposure to hot water can increase your risk of getting dermatitis. You want to apply enough antimicrobial liquid soap to cover all of your hand surfaces, and then start by rubbing your hands palm to palm. Then rub your right palm over the left dorsum with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Then rub palm to palm with your fingers interlaced. Then, with the backs of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Then, rotational rubbing of the left thumb clasped in the right palm and vice versa. And then rotational rubbing backwards and forwards with clasped fingers of your right hand in the left palm and vice versa. Then you're going to rinse your hands with water and make sure that you get rid of all of the soap suds. Turn the faucet off with your elbow, or you can dry your hands thoroughly first with a single-use towel. A good tip is to pat your hands dry rather than rub them dry, as patting them can help to preserve your skin integrity. If you've chosen to dry your hands first, now use a towel or your elbow to turn off the faucet. And once your hands all dry, your hands are now safe. Finally, here are some general tips for hand care and hand health, and also just some final things to consider when you're washing your hands. The first thing is that you need to take care of your hands by applying like a hand cream or moisturizer at least once a day to prevent your hands from becoming dry and very painful, to reduce your risk of getting dermatitis. Also, don't routinely wash your hands with soap and water immediately after using an alcohol-based rub, because it can dry out your hands. After hand rubbing or washing your hands, make sure that your hands are completely dry before putting on any gloves. And especially if you're a nurse or in any healthcare related field, you need to be keeping your nails short and clean and free of artificial nails and nail polish, just because they have been shown to harbour germs. And a final fun fact is that Global Hand Washing Day is celebrated every 15th of October. So that was pretty much everything you needed to know about hand washing and hand hygiene. So I hope you guys found the video helpful or informative. As I said before, all of my resources are linked in the description, so you can go check that out if you want more information. I'd also really appreciate it if you could let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see in my Nursing 101 series. Also, if you have any feedback or questions, they're always appreciated as well. That was today's video. I hope you have a lovely day, a fantastic week, and I'll see you all next Monday with a new video. Bye!
Rated X. That means you're extra, extra.